Hi, I'm Francesca James, the founder of the Great British Entrepreneur Awards and Community. The coronavirus pandemic has caused chaos for many UK businesses, yet the crisis does seem to have brought out the raw entrepreneur in some business owners and leaders. In this series, we're shining a spotlight on and speaking to the entrepreneurs behind businesses who have adopted a plan B or changed their business by pivoting to models to either still serve their customers or help the country in an entirely different way. Obviously, I'm familiar with your business through the Great British Entrepreneur Awards and know your story quite well, but a lot of people won't. So could you tell us about your business pre-pandemic and what it looks like in the normal world?
Sure. So, hi, I'm Emeka.
And I'm Ife.
And we're the brother and sister duo behind Chukwu's, the world's first Nigerian tapas restaurant.
So we started as a pop-up back in 2016. And at the beginning of this year, February the 13th, actually to be precise, after much site hunting and a series of successful pop-ups, we opened the doors to our first permanent site in Tottenham.
Before the pandemic, obviously it was a wonderful time to start the year because it'd been a long journey in terms of getting to this final point where we could open the doors for our first brick and mortar site. It was always the plan, always the dream from when we were starting out as a pop-up to have our own permanent site. And in particular, we wanted to have it on the high street. Our mission is to kind of retell the narrative around African cuisine and culture, and at the same time celebrate the beauty of Nigerian culture specifically. And so we wanted to always have a presence on the high street. And so, being able to achieve that at the beginning of this year and finally open our doors was great. And we had, all our brand community who were coming to visit us. We were making friends with people in the local area. It was a wonderful time.
And to be running a business on the high street, in the food industry, I mean, you guys have been hit tremendously by this pandemic. What does the business look like now? What changes have you made to get through it?
Yeah, so it has been quite a significant, had quite a significant impact on us. But I think the first thing that we started to do when the pandemic hit and we realised we weren't going to continue operating was to actually sit and think, okay, well, what is it that we really do? Yes, we serve food, but Chukwu's has always been a restaurant that has been about more than food. As Emeka already mentioned, we wanted to celebrate our culture, to bring people together and celebrate the community spirit. And whilst Corona might have stopped us sharing food and bringing people together in a physical space, we gratefully, thanks to the internet, knew that we could still bring people together and there were ways that we could still celebrate our culture digitally. So maybe we want to talk a bit more about what we've been doing.
Yeah, so with Chukwu's, the Chukwu's experience is based on the theme of chop, chat, chill. So chop is Nigerian pidgin for eat, and it shows that kind of food is at the heart of what we do. And then you have chat, and when that's all about the very sociable atmosphere that we create in particular in our restaurant. And it's kind of partly why we do it in that tapas style, because I think it's a great way to kind of build relationship and bonds between people, and also a great way to build community. And food is a great way to do that. And then we have the chill. And that's all about the kind of the culture, taking people away from, feeling that they're maybe in London and whisking them off to warmer climates, such as Lagos in Nigeria. So obviously we couldn't do the chop element as much as we wanted to. So we very much like to focus around the chat and the chill. So two things that we started to do were our virtual supper clubs. It's been really great, actually. So it's the supper club where people dial in on Zoom, and we ask people to share. We toast, everyone has a drink, and we toast to the evening, and then people just have a great conversation. And we ask people to bring something to the table that they would like to share. So something that they maybe have learned, or something that they're currently project we're working on or something they've recently bought. And it's been really funny because we've had like people who have recently bought trampolines who are bouncing on them. We've had people sharing a new documentary that they're working on, poetry being spoken. And yeah, for us, like, it's also been a great opportunity to be able to connect with our global brand community. So we've had people dialing in from LA, Lagos, Paris, Morocco, as well as obviously London. And even in the UK, we're having people from like Manchester who we wouldn't obviously get an opportunity to really kind of connect with. Obviously in the restaurant based in North London in Tottenham. We've also been running a Nollywood Netflix party series, which is Ife's really loves. She's a big Nollywood fan. So Nollywood, for people who don't know, is Nigerian Hollywood. So it's the movie industry from Nigeria. And it's been a great chance to for us to share with the community what Nigeria maybe looks like, because we've chosen movies in particular where they take people on journeys really of different parts of the country. So we've been in northern Nigeria, we've been in the east, and also we've been in the commercial centre in Lagos as well. And we watched the movie with our community, and everyone watches at the same time, and people are kind of messaging each other at the same time. So it really adds a different kind of like flavour to just watching the movie at home. It's like watching it with a whole group of friends.
I think one of the main things that we sort of took in mind as we were working out what we would be doing during this period is, as much as the pandemic had impacted us, it had also impacted our community. And so really, really had to think, what did they need in this moment in time? And for a lot of people, I mean, our community is such a sociable bunch of people. They love being out, they love meeting new people, and they are feeling that pain. You know, they can't, a lot of them also currently live alone. And so one of the beautiful things about when we had our Netflix party, for example, one woman commented, you know, I've been alone for 8 weeks. This is the first time I've seen so many people chat in a space, and it was just so great. And so for us, it very much came about, how can we serve our community during this time? Because actually, if they needed us before, they enjoyed us before, they actually really need us now. It's been a difficult time for everyone. And I think that we've wanted to be a space of positivity and bring warmth and enjoyment to people into their homes, even whilst they can't necessarily experience us physically. And one thing that we've also been working on that we're really excited to be sharing is our new Chiku's Chat series. So we've been interviewing a whole range of Nigerians who are in different fields, whether it's film, photography, or even tech. And we've been getting them to share their story with us. We've been talking about food, what they love, their favourite travel memories. And there are a few Nigerians that we know of that we wanted to share and celebrate with our community, and we felt they were worthy of having the spotlight on them. So that's a series that we'll be launching very, very soon.
Yeah, really excited about that. We've got, I won't say names, but Oscar qualifying directors. We have music directors or directors of music videos. We have guys who and ladies who have created like travel companies. We have MBE people on there as well, like some just super intelligent. And I think for Ife and I, it's also been a great opportunity just to hear some of these like wonderful stories, and also we've been so inspired, and hence why we're kind of like sitting here get excited, because we know how much we've been inspired by them. And like, I think when other people hear their stories, they're really going to enjoy what these guys have to say.
Well, I feel like that talking to you guys, because you hear of restaurants pivoting, you know, and there's the traditional ways that they do it. But you've created, well, enhanced the community you already had, but to be bringing in people to that community from all around the world, you know, that's got to, well, I hope it is going to have like really positive influence and implications on the brand going forward, that so many people that may never have come across you are now going to be familiar with what you're all about. So I guess what it'd be cool to know is, are there any bits of that you've sort of been forced into doing during lockdown that you're going to continue into your business when we enter the new normal?
So, yeah.
So I think it's a case of, in fact, it's not so much a forced into, I think it's actually given us an opportunity. So before we opened the restaurant, we had so many ideas. Like, we knew we wanted to do film screenings at some point, but you know, you're focused on just making the restaurant work in the first instance. So actually, with the restaurant almost taken out of the equation, it became a bit like, oh, okay, some of these ideas that we've had, let's you know, explore them. The Netflix party isn't a film screening in the traditional sense, but it's allowing us to sort of dabble in that to see how our community is responding to that. So I very much feel that the things that we have begun in some shape or form will most probably stay as part of the Chiku's brand as we move forward into the post-lockdown period. But it's also given us an opportunity to explore some other food ideas that we had. So whilst we didn't pivot maybe as quickly as other restaurant brands into running a delivery service like immediately, but that doesn't mean we haven't been using the time to look at other food extensions. And I don't know if you want to talk some more.
Yeah, so I think for us, what is most important is like not to hit the panic button in this time. You know, it's hard because there's obviously pressures, and you know, as a business that's just opened, you know, we feel it just as much as other people. But what we wanted to do is augment the brand rather than do things where we felt it was just a sticking plaster for now. So as if they mentioned, like all the things that we've started to kind of to do, from the supper clubs to the Chiku's Chat series, you know, there is, whether they continue or not is a different question, but the ambition is that they would continue with us and help to kind of add to our offering to our community. And similarly with what we're kind of thinking around the food delivery. So yeah, it's something we're maybe thinking in a couple of weeks we may be able to have, you know, at least a prototype of the platform that we're looking at, trying to have it as some sort of app as well. But I think we're very conscious that what we want to bring to our customers is something which it still feels like you're part of the Chiku's ecosystem, rather than kind of something which is kind of taken away and they don't really feel in tune with the experience. And critically, we're also still thinking how we can create that experience. So yeah, we're still working on it, but we have some ideas around what we can do, which, so when a customer receives their food, they're not just receiving their food, they're still receiving a bit of the chop chat chill. So they're still receiving the cultural elements, the cultural exploration, and the feeling that they're being, even from their home, being kind of whisked away somewhere. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it's hard not to get this vibe from you, but are you both optimistic about the future?
Yeah, I think getting to the point that we got to where we finally opened our own place was a very difficult journey in the first place. And I think we were very much still, you know, working out some of the teething problems. So we hadn't really got into that comfortable place that maybe some other businesses had. So for us, it was almost just like, oh, it's just another jolt of one of many that we've had over the last 4 years. And I think one thing that really drives me and Emeka is our community. And I think when you get the messages that we're sort of getting from our community, literally checking in on us, how are you guys doing? Are you okay? Is there a way we can support? Blah, 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 things like that. It kind of makes you feel like, of course it must work out, because you've got these amazing bunch of people behind you. So they're rooting for us. We're putting the work in. When you combine that, I think there's lots of reasons to be optimistic. That's not to say I think it's going to be easy. I think those are two different points. I think it, you know, there are challenges that we'll all have to face, and there may have to be difficult decisions that have to be made. But I think there are reasons to be optimistic.
I think on top of that, you know, to be visionary, to be strategic, you know, we almost need to keep ourselves positive and optimistic, so we can keep thinking, and we can keep stepping on, stepping through, should I say. And so, you know, we're aware of the challenges, like acutely aware of those, but you know, we almost have to like put them to one side, so we can just be like, okay, cool, let's like try and embody a positive spirit. Let's find things which are going to fuel us, so that we can kind of continue to be creative in trying to move the brand forward, because yeah, we definitely want to keep going forward, right?
And finally, how can people get involved with Chiku's and find out more about you? What's the best way?
Yeah, so people can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CHUKUSLDN, so that's Chiku's LDN. And if they want to get all the links to joining up for our Netflix parties or our virtual subclubs and just to be the first to know about all the new updates, they can sign up to our mailing list on our website at chikuslondon.co.uk.